He was one of the first stars in the tradition of Byron, and along with Verlaine, one of the last great vagabonds of the 19th century. From the dress circle to the drains, his life was his greatest work of art and an inspiration to anyone who's ever felt outcast. It was many years after my childhood encounter with him that I first read De Profundis, which laid bare that life in the form of a long letter from prison to the young Lord Alfred Douglas. It is part love letter, part confessional, part self-analysis, and wholly without delusions. It is Wilde for once without his mask, but at the same time it is one of the most beautiful and moving pieces of writing that he has ever produced. And here it is, some of it. I was a man who stood in symbolic relations to the art and culture of my age. I'd realized this for myself at the very dawn of my manhood, and had forced my age to realize it afterwards. Few men hold such a position in their own lifetime and have it so acknowledged. It is usually discerned, if discerned at all, by the historian or the critic, long after both the man and his age had passed away. But with me, it was different. I felt it myself and made others feel it. The gods had given me almost everything. I had genius, a distinguished name, high social position, brilliancy, intellectual daring. I made art a philosophy and philosophy an art. I altered the minds of men and the colours of things. There was nothing I said or did that did not make people wonder. I took the drama, the most objective form known to art, and made it as personal a mode of expression as the lyric or the sonnet, at the same time that I widened its range and enriched its characterization. Drama, novel, poem in rhyme, poem in prose, subtle or fantastic dialogue. Whatever I touched, I made beautiful in a new mode of beauty. To truth itself, I gave what is false no less than what is true as its rightful province, and showed the false and the true are merely forms of intellectual existence. I treated art as a supreme reality, and life as a mere mode of fiction. I awoke the imagination of my century, so that it created myth and legend around me. I summed up all systems in a phrase, and all existence in an epigram. Along with these things I had that were different, I let myself be lured into long spells of senseless and sensual ease. I amused myself with being a flaneur, a dandy, a man of fashion. I surrounded myself with the smaller natures and the meaner minds. I became the spendthrift of my own genius, and to waste an eternal youth gave me a curious joy. Tired of being on the heights, I deliberately went into the depths in the search for new sensations. What the paradox was to me in the sphere of thought, perversity became to me in the sphere of passion. Desire, at the end, was a malady, or a madness, or both. I grew careless of the lives of others. I took pleasure where it pleased me and passed on. I forgot that every little action of the common day makes or unmakes a character, and that therefore what one has done in the secret chamber one has some day to cry aloud on the housetops. I ceased to be lord over myself. I was no longer the captain of my soul, and did not know it, and I ended in horrible disgrace. I, once a lord of language, have no words in which to express my anguish and my shame. My mother and my father had bequeathed me a name that they had made noble and honoured, not merely in literature, art, archaeology and science, but in the public history of my own country and its evolution as a nation. I had disgraced that name eternally. I had made it a low byword among low people. I had dragged it through the very mire. I had given it to brutes that they might make it brutal, and to fools that they might turn it into a synonym for folly. What I suffered then, and still suffer, is not for pen to write or paper to record. All trials are trials for one's life, just as all sentences are sentences of death, and 3 times have I been tried. The first time I left the box to be arrested, the second time to be led back to the house of detention, the third time to pass into prison for 2 years. Society, as we have constituted it, will have no place for me, has none to offer. But nature, whose sweet rains fall on unjust and just alike, will have clefts in the rocks where I may hide, and secret valleys in whose silence I may weep undisturbed. She will hang the night with stars so that I may walk abroad in the darkness without stumbling, and send the wind over my footprints so that none may track me to my hurt. She will cleanse me in great waters, and with bitter herbs make me whole. What lies before me now is my past. I've got to make myself look on that with different eyes, to make the world look on it with different eyes, to make God look on it with different eyes. This I cannot do by ignoring it, or slighting it, or praising it, or denying it. It is only to be done fully by accepting it as an inevitable part of the evolution of my life and character, by bowing my head to everything that I have suffered. How far I am away from the true temple of soul, this letter in its changing, uncertain moods, its scorn and bitterness, its aspirations and its failure to realize those aspirations shows you quite clearly. But do not forget what a terrible school I am sitting in at my task. And incomplete, imperfect as I am, yet from me you may still have much to gain. You came to me to learn the pleasure of life and the pleasure of art. Perhaps I'm chosen to teach you something much more wonderful, the meaning of sorrow and its beauty. Your affectionate friend, Oscar Wilde.